Hi, welcome to episode number 14 of the Better Conversations podcast. We speak to the leaders of today so that the leaders of tomorrow can be inspired, enriched, and better than those who came before them. Today, I am with Chidi, who is an incoming global markets analyst and a co director of an agency. Chidi also mentors students through applications for banking and has been recognized as a top 150 future leader in the UK. Hi, Chidi, how are you doing today?
Hey, Fabian, I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well, thanks. And I mean, what's your day been like? What you been up to?
Yeah, today I actually made my long-awaited return to the gym. I've had a
Ah,
long time out of the gym for so long. I've received an injury sometime last year,
ah,
and it's taken me a long time to get back there. But yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm
yeah.
feeling good again.
What did you do? Like, what was the injury?
I don't actually know. I injured myself in the gym doing
Ah,
incline bench, and then yeah, it just went all wrong from there. But
yeah,
it's good. We're good now. We're good.
yeah. We're good, all good, all good. Getting back to the shape. All right. So
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, we're on the podcast, and you know how we sort of just jump straight into it. I know one of the key
Yeah.
things that you mentioned when we were preparing the podcast anyway was the significance of lockdown and how that
Yeah.
helped you through your journey. Would you like to tell the audience a little bit more about that?
100%. Yeah. So with lockdown, 2020, the infamous year, it all started off, everyone was thinking about what's going to be happening during lockdown. Everyone was looking for different stuff to be doing. And, for
Mm,
me, before lockdown, I actually really enjoyed playing video games and everything like that. And
yeah,
a lot of the time, my friends were all thinking, let's get back on to playing video games and, having fun. But it got to a period where you kind of have to step away from that
yeah,
way of thinking a little bit. I had to step back and think, how can I actually further myself in these next couple of years? So it
mm,
really all started from there. Really, that summer, I started. I had a friend, a really good friend, accountability partner, who would come over
yeah,
sometimes, and we start talking about what the next 5 years are going to look like, what we're going to do to get to where we want to be, and that was when we
mm,
really started talking about banking, which is now what
yeah,
I'm going to be going into, and how to get into these things, how to go through the different processes, and we signed up for a couple of different schemes. One in particular was called Aspiring Interns, really great program.
yeah,
Got my wits about how the spring internship process works into summer internship process, and then into converting to a full time offer. And that was just really amazing to kind of like learn your way around there and really get an idea of and focus on where you want it to be. I guess
mm,
one thing I can say that really helped throughout that period was we held each other very accountable on
yeah.
creating actually a LinkedIn profile. And that's one of
Okay.
the key pieces of advice that I'd always give to students that, either don't have a LinkedIn profile, or if they do, to, really start to utilize this. Because
Mm,
along with learning from people about how to go through these processes, creating and being on LinkedIn, you can attack and see exactly who is in these positions that you want to get
yeah,
to. You can, almost, for want of a better word, stalk them. You can listen to
yeah,
what they've been doing, their
yeah,
experiences, and start to copy. Um,
yeah,
one process that I actually saw, one account that I actually saw on there, they use this thing called, we've all heard of Rare and SEO, but they use this thing called
yeah.
Uptree, and this was really
Okay.
key for me in the lockdown period. They offered a
Mm,
lot of online type of work experiences that
mm.
really helped to bolster my CV. So yeah, that was lockdown for me. That was really how it all started, and how yeah, how it turned out quite well for me.
Yeah, yeah. That really sounds interesting. What are some of the most like interesting connections that you made on LinkedIn?
Oof, 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 oof. I mean, not putting names to it, because I
Yeah.
can't really remember some of the names, or so long ago. But I remember there was these guys, they were posting a lot about, I've just received this spring internship, and I'd go and I'd look at their account and see what they've been doing. And those are
Mm,
really the most kind of beneficial, let's say, connections I made, because you could see those people that are just that step ahead of you.
yeah.
I was in sixth form and I was going into university, and there's these guys in first year that
Mm,
had these spring internships, and it allowed me to see what are they doing to get to where they are right now, and then
yeah.
I got to see these different experiences that they've been doing, kind of emulate that. But yeah,
Mm,
that's probably the most kind of beneficial connections
yeah.
I made there, in a sense, around that space.
And like in terms of, I guess, building a LinkedIn,
Yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, portfolio,
Where
I
to start?
guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
like where do you even start with that?
I'd say it comes in kind of twofold. There's those people that don't have much experience, which can be a little bit more difficult too. But there's some ways to get around that. And those that do have experience, of course, if you do have experience, put it all in there. Why not? Try
Yeah.
to organize it a little bit more better than I have, maybe, into, you know, awards, languages, loads of these different stuff that I might have to kind of, for one of a better word, show off. But
Yeah, yeah.
of course, there's not everyone is in these, like, you know, kind of privileged positions where they've had opportunities to get loads of experience from before university. So
Mm,
for those people, I'd say it's all about kind of throwing yourself in there. Talking about a point that we probably get into a little bit later, but throwing yourself at opportunities that are a little bit more accessible to you. You know,
yeah.
going for different roles in your school, maybe. Just so you
Mm,
have talking points and interviews and talking points that kind of like separate yourself from other people on LinkedIn. But yeah, start with what you
yeah.
can, is what I say.
Yeah. And I know it can be really challenging, like to
Yeah,
actually really put yourself out there. I mean,
yeah,
obviously we had lockdown. You said that was quite a significant moment, and also you had an
yeah,
accountability partner as well. Talk me
yeah,
through some of the things that you sort of went through to start putting yourself out there, and the
yeah.
importance of an accountability partner as well. Like how did that help with that journey?
Of course. So in terms of the first point, which is, you know, talk through how the most, sorry, repeat that last bit, sorry.
Uh, the last bit of the accountability
The
partner.
the first part of your question, sorry.
Oh yeah, the first part that was around really sort of how did you actually, like, what were the feelings and how did you actually go about trying to put yourself out there?
Yeah, exactly. So in terms of
Yeah.
putting myself out there, it definitely started with school. I'd say for me with
Mm,
school especially. I actually moved school from GCSE level to sixth form. So it would
yeah.
have been very easy for me to, you know, kind of shy away from getting involved in a lot of the society stuff
Mm,
going on. But I think it's much easier said than done, but it really is a case of just, you know, kind of ignoring what other people say, you know. Some people
yeah.
don't think it's cool. You know that this is what's going to help you in the future to get to where you need
Mm,
to be. So yeah, I went through a process of going for a bunch of stuff. I luckily was able to become, you know, the first team captain of the rugby team at the new school.
yeah.
I became senior prefect. I led a couple of societies, including
Mm,
being gospel leader, which was just one interest of mine. And yeah, that really just started spanning on from there. And I'd say
yeah.
one of the main things kind of outside of school that I did was came just before I went to university, which was I actually landed a role working at an estate agent, which was
Oh
really quite
wow.
out of the blue. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
really quite
yeah.
out of the blue. It came out of nowhere. It was an opportunity. Someone I knew someone that was looking for someone,
Mm,
and I don't think they were expecting an 18-year-old to turn up. But you know, I just put myself
yeah,
out there, went to the interview, and they were quite impressed. And I landed the role, and then you know that has been a massive talking point in all of my interviews, even
yeah.
now. So yeah, it really is that case of just putting yourself out
That's really interesting. That's quite obviously a young age to hit the market as
there. Yeah.
well. What was that work experience like?
Oh, it was brilliant. It was it ranged from problem solving to, you know, doing my first viewings, which was a bit
Yeah.
crazy on the first one, meeting different people, learning how to interact with different kinds of people as well,
Mm,
especially because of the area I was in South London, so it was, you met
yeah.
really big a range of different people, and yeah, you learn how to deal with different situations, problems.
Mm,
People would call you up with problems, and you'd have to be the one to navigate your way and finding
yeah.
solutions to these problems in the way out. It was a lot for an 18-year-old, but I'm happy I
Yeah.
did it, and I'm happy I got through it and did very well at it as well. And just in
Yeah.
terms of that last bit you did mention before about the importance of having an accountability partner, I can say
Mm,
with certainty, you know, tying yourself to someone, going through these tough times with people is so important in the sense that
yeah.
you know you have someone that you're going through it with. You know, it's not just you. You can
Mm,
call each other, talk about your day, talk about how it's been, talk about how to attack the next day better, talk about different problems you faced in the day. And yeah, it just really makes both of you overall a lot better and the
yeah.
whole process a lot easier.
And if just to sum up that whole, I guess, experience of the
Yeah.
significance of lockdown, if there was one word or one phrase you would use
Oof,
you sort of kept with your own personal development after that, what would it be?
oof. A phrase I definitely say is
Mm,
most likely have an open mind. Have an open mind,
mm,
because if you don't have an open mind, if you're worried about what people are going to be thinking, you can really miss out on a lot of these opportunities. You know, you can really
yeah.
let a lot of these big opportunities that can help you land these roles really pass you by. And, you know, that's just
Mm,
not a situation you want to be in, of course. But yeah, that's
yeah.
what I'd say.
And I love that as well because lockdown was all about being shut in. So you actually
Yeah,
had enough time
exactly.
to actually open your mind while everything's shut.
Yeah, yeah,
While
yeah,
everything's shut. So it just goes to show sort of, I guess, the power of um what we have now in terms of being online and actually still being able to connect even behind
yeah,
closed doors and not being able to actually interact with people physically, but we can still connect. And LinkedIn is a powerful tool, like what you're saying. And I think this
exactly.
definitely leads nicely into the second point you said as well, which is about seeking opportunities.
Yeah, yeah. Seeking opportunities is literally how I pride myself.
Yeah.
In terms of seeking opportunities, I think the main place to start is definitely kind of setting an end goal for yourself. If you have
Mm,
an end goal, you then know what sort of opportunities would be best to seek. I know it
yeah.
sounds very simple, but this is something that you would have to probably put a little bit of time into, a little bit of time in,
Mm,
get a piece of paper out, kind of have this whole big end goal, 5 year
yeah.
plan, maybe 10-year plan, and then you
Mm,
break it down into smaller little chunks. And that was me. I started off, investment banking, that's where I want to be. How do I get there? Okay, pre-university, what can I do to make my CV better so that when I get into university, I can get into these more exclusive societies, exclusive
yeah.
teams that really connect you with amazing people that just go so far into, building a good community that can really support you through
Mm,
these application processes, support you through your internship as a whole.
yeah.
And yeah, that was really it. Break it up into smaller bits is what I'd 100% say. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I guess as you said as well, having that end goal, I guess it's
Yeah.
like that starting with the end in mind mindset. Um, how do you actually, I guess, for someone who's maybe still trying to figure it
Of
out,
course.
someone who's maybe not completely set on that end goal, what sort of the things that they could do as well to at least still seek out opportunities and
Mm.
continue to progress?
I would say, and I actually gave this advice to someone quite recently that wasn't
Mm,
too sure about what they wanted to do. Definitely start by just listen out your interests. You could be someone that likes computers, you can be someone that likes even something as simple as video games. You could start with that
yeah.
and then break it down into, is this something I'd want to be involved in, for on a longer like time horizon scale.
Mm,
And if that's something, if you can kind of tick yes to some of these questions, I like video games, I like computers, you can then start looking into, oh, what am I going to study? Maybe computer science. And then, oh,
yeah.
I like coding, tick that. Then you might think,
Mm,
okay, software engineer within the gaming space. It kind of, yeah, that's just off the top of my head, but
yeah.
it kind of would be really great to break it down into small parts, starting from really micro stuff like interests, and then seeing,
Yeah.
can I see myself working, in a company to do with this stuff. And if that's the case, then you then seek, how can I kind of get into these spaces? Is it
Mm,
internships? Is it networking events? Is it just doing exams?
yeah.
And whatever that next step is, you see if you want to do that. If you want to do that, then of course tack it that direction. If you don't,
Mm,
then maybe look for, maybe it's not software engineering within gaming, maybe it's tech within um, exercise, like a Peloton or
yeah.
something like that. And
Yeah.
there's loads of roles within some of these companies that, and a lot more than people think really that and get
Yeah.
involved in. So yeah,
Yeah. And I guess with the seeking opportunities as well, I want to bring in that sort of experience you have around, winning that award of the
yeah,
150 UK leaders as well, because you do a lot of this, I guess, speaking to students who are still trying to figure it out, still trying to look for opportunities. It'll be good to, I guess, get a little bit of a backstory of how you got that award and what went into it.
yeah, of course. Funny you should say that because we spoke about the power of LinkedIn, and it really was the power of
Mm.
LinkedIn. Actually, the editor of that magazine, she reached out to me on LinkedIn
Oh
one
wow.
day, and she said that yeah, she liked my profile. It's not even the best LinkedIn profile, but she liked my profile and she wanted to nominate me for the award.
Mm.
So that's how that came about, and I guess it came from seeing some of the stuff on my profile, such as being involved as a client acquisitions director for a global organization called 180 Degrees Consulting.
Okay.
I was involved in actually finding these clients that they're going to work with, do the consultancy work
Mm.
with, and also pitching selling our service basically to them, and also
Yeah.
coming up with the project scope. So it was a lot, but it was really good to be involved in as well. In addition to that, the mentorship that we spoke about, and also
Mm.
some of these captaincy roles and just societal roles that I've been involved in. I guess like she actually kind of found me, to be fair,
Yeah.
and it shows how far really having a LinkedIn profile, a great LinkedIn profile can really take you. So yeah.
Yeah, and definitely, because what you're saying there as well, I guess if you didn't partake in some of those opportunities, just to bring it back into that second point, the
Mm,
LinkedIn profile, as you said, even though it's not the best, there's some interesting
mm,
opportunities that you took
exactly,
part in that obviously
exactly,
makes you stand out. So I can see how the second point there, seeking opportunities and just pursuing them, having an open mind, all of these like things that are coming out of this discussion are really helpful, especially for someone who's starting their career. And I
exactly.
think that definitely leads nicely into the third point as well, which is securing your internship.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that as well.
It was a really good process. Well, it's a really tough process
Yeah.
as well. But it all stems back from second year, first year, spring weeks, being on the ball quite early with it all, so that
Mm,
I was in the best position I could possibly imagine myself to really secure some internship. And I
yeah.
guess it's not the same. It's not really the same for everyone in the sense that you don't have to have spring weeks. That is really just an insight day into what how the bank works and how
Mm,
you can really see yourself within a bank. You don't even have to really pigeonhole yourself into either global markets or IB right then. But
mm,
that's the first thing I did, and it really did allow me to kind of set my horizons and where I wanted to go within the bank, which was of course global markets. And
yeah.
then yeah, the second part in terms of actually getting the internship and doing applications, you have your tests, you have your initial application stages,
Yeah.
and preparation is so key. I had
Mm,
cover letters. They really do say sometimes that volume is key for some of this stuff. And
yeah.
I had cover letters ready. I already had my CV ready. I was pretty CV mad, in the sense of getting
Yeah.
it perfect, 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 and making sure it was the best possible that I could possibly
Mm,
make it. And yeah, so I went from a process of that, having a good community around me to kind of help me through interview prep. A resource I used really helped me out was Rare Recruitment. They actually
okay.
helped me out a lot with a
Mm,
mock interview, sorry, before one of
mm,
my final AC for the bank
yeah.
I'm going to be starting at. And of course, it went well. So
Yeah.
yeah, in terms of the process, I'd say it's just mainly preparation. Preparation is
Yeah.
so key, so pivotal. And of course, everyone likes to feel prepared. When you don't feel prepared is when you start stuttering, you start
Yeah.
the interview maybe doesn't go as well as you might hope. So yeah, preparation,
Mm,
preparation, preparation.
preparation upon preparation. Yeah. And I guess how do you actually come to the mindset where you say, I'm going to sit down and I'm actually going to prepare for this? Because that's sometimes
Oof.
hard for people.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
even in lockdown, like
yeah, exactly.
people could have spent so much time preparing for when time was actually where we could actually,
Yeah,
open up and stuff. But,
yeah.
like, what's what helps you get into that mindset, I guess, to actually say, I'm going to sit down and prepare.
And you really did hit the nail on the hammer there when you said that, it really is difficult for anyone to really just sit
Yeah.
down and do some stuff sometimes. It's not just the case that a lot of these people that are successful just already have it, they
Yeah.
struggle too. And for me, how I really managed to get around it was through planning. I have this app on my phone that allows me to really schedule my days and my weeks. So I just write stuff
Mm,
in like a to-do list. And I guess that's kind of a way of when you don't have an accountability partner, like a bit later, of holding yourself accountable, having this to-do
yeah.
list where you tick off, so that you feel like by the time you got to the end of that day, I need all of this ticked off. And if it's not,
Mm,
you're gonna beat yourself up a little bit, but not too much, of course, because there's always
yeah.
the next day to get it covered. But that's how I was a bit harsh on myself in that case, but
Mm,
to-do list, I would say to-do list is definitely the way to go.
yeah.
In terms of getting stuff done, because if it's not done by the end of the day, you know that you've got even more work to do the next day.
Yeah, I mean, I agree as well. I mean, finding like literally just a to-do list, pen and paper
Yeah,
works perfect for me. I mean, like there's so many planning tools out there,
yeah,
but
yeah,
like a literal to-do list is like, I feel like for me anyway, the most motivating and also the most rewarding as well. Like at the end of the day, when I
exactly.
look back and I say, you know
All
what, yeah,
green.
I've ticked off all those tasks, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
You feel a bit more accomplished.
yeah,
So yeah, definitely.
for sure.
So the way we round off the podcast is by asking the person, what's one thing you would advise your younger self?
My younger self, wow. One thing I would 100% advise my younger self is to take into account what's going on in the whole world in terms of commercial awareness a bit earlier. Because if I
Mm,
knew what was going on with technology and different crypto maybe or anything like that, I would have had I would have been way more better placed right now to deal with certain situations and, adapting to coding, which I'm now scraping my head trying to learn how to do now.
Yeah.
Whereas if I was onto it and keyed into it a little bit earlier, it would have been way easier. But, we'll
Mm,
still get there regardless.
yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. That's a unique insight as well, because we get a lot of people coming on and obviously saying the one thing to advise the younger self, and it's different for every single person.
Mm,
It's interesting that you say market awareness, because that's something that I think I would advise my younger self as well,
yeah.
around,
Yeah.
actually, seeing what's actually going on in the news, just
Exactly.
being aware of the trends, being aware of what's going on, because that helps you navigate your path a little bit better. It doesn't have to define your path, but it helps you navigate it just a tiny
Navigate
bit
it
better.
for sure.
Yeah,
For sure. For sure.
yeah, definitely. Um, so before we go, I mean, like, where can people find you? Where can people get your support? If it's a banking student, or anyone just wants to
Definitely.
come and speak with you.
Definitely. I say 100%. If you're a careers related, I'd 100% say to just find me on LinkedIn. It's
Yep.
my first name, Chidi, Chidi, and my last name, Ofili, Fili. And that would be the best place to probably reach me.
Great. Well, thanks, Chidi. It's been a wonderful time speaking to you. For the listeners, we're going to be soon launching on YouTube, and hopefully we're going to get some nicer sounding audio as well. But once again, thanks for everyone who joins and listens in. Chidi, is there any last word you want to say to anyone? It might be a banking student.
Oh, I'd 100% say just make that 5 year plan. Know where you want to be in 5 years, break it down into smaller chunks, and then you'll get to where you want to be. And you take it step by step.
Thanks, Chidi. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
Cheers. Thank you so much.
And you've just listened to another Better Conversation. Thank you, and hope to see you next time.